and what is DNS and how we can leverage them to be anonymous on the internet. So first of all, we're going to start with VPN. I assume that you have heard this term before, and if you haven't heard it, it's no problem because we're going to learn it right now. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. So suppose that you're working in Berlin in a headquarters of a firm, of a company, but you have some branches in London, for example, and you are the IT manager of that Berlin office. You want your London branch, you want the people in London to comply with your security information rules, right? So you can make them connect to the internet using your servers in Berlin, right? They should connect to your server in order to go to the internet and search for things or do whatever they have to do. You can do that, and this is called virtual private network. You can just create a virtual network in which they have to direct their internet connection through your servers. So that's actually what we are doing when we use VPN to change our IP address to be anonymous on the internet. We find some servers that is accepting our requests and forwarding our responses back to us so that we can connect to the internet via that server or via those services, okay? So if you want to change your IP address, if you want to change your location, or if you want to change your country, you can use a virtual private network, and we're going to see a lot of ways to do that and a lot of ways to make this work, not only inside of Linux, but inside of our host machines as well. And what is DNS? So DNS stands for Domain Name Server, and in fact, it connects us with the domain name. It actually finds the IP address correlating with the domain name. What do I mean? For example, if I want to go to google.com, I'm not actually going to google.com, right? I'm sending requests to the server where Google is hosted. So I'm not going to google.com. I'm going something like 172.168. You get it, right? We are going to an IP address, a public IP of the Google, a server, a machine that hosts Google. So domain name server actually connects these two together. So when I say find google.com, it tells me, yeah, you have to go to this IP address in order to get this domain. So maybe sometimes I want to change my DNS server as well. Why? For example, sometimes VPN servers actually require this change. You have to change your DNS server in order to make this work. And sometimes you don't even want your internet provider to see why and what you are doing on the internet. So generally, by default, you're using your internet provider's DNS servers. But if you change it, they won't be able to track your web history or whatever you're doing on your own machine. And of course, we are doing this within a legal boundary, okay? We are learning about ethical hacking. So we are not learning this information to be completely anonymous so that we can commit some crimes. And bear in mind that governments always know this information as well. They can connect to VPN servers or DNS providers to see your real public IP addresses. Okay, it takes some time, but actually FBI and CIA tracked down so many criminals in the past couple of years. So bear in mind, you have to stay in legal boundaries. So we are using this VPN and we are using this DNS to be completely anonymous on the internet, but for just ethical reasons. So let me show you what I mean by an example. I believe we should see that because you can understand what is DNS with this example a little bit better. So if you're using your Kali Linux, you can ping any website whenever you want. So let me clear this screen so that we can have a clear terminal over here, and let me run this ping google.com. So it will send a request to the google.com and it will track the responses. As you can see, we are getting these responses from google.com. If you hit Control-C on your keyboard, it will stop this pinging process, okay? And as you can see, we get the IP address of google.com. So this is 172.217.169.208.206, I believe, yep, 206. And this is the IP address of google.com. So DNS exactly does this. It says that, yeah, you have to go to this IP address in order to reach this domain. So if you have understood all of this, let's stop here.